Welcome back to Mobile Electronic Diagnostic. Up there on the left is Toyota Camry 2007-8. We are going to give you a quick review about the engine component, the past, the present, and future. Here is the engine that is knocking. This engine there on that side was knocking. We replace it with this one. I believe there is no time, or it may cost more money to take it and replace the crankshaft sensor. You know, this car was knocking a lot. We are trying to put the engine back into the transmission. This is a flywheel where it turned by the starter, and here is a transmission, as you see it here. We have the starter here that is out, but this is the engine, 4-cylinder engine, and here we have the intake manifold. I believe this is the intake manifold here. Do not forget the grounds and all the other stuff. In this place here, those are the place where injectors come in. The intake manifold, the air come from here, the injectors, and also we have a module here. I believe it's work with a vacuum that it turn, you know, the flip off on for the intake manifold or the car performance. Here we have the transmission, as I say. Here is the wiring. In here, as you see, this is the power steering pump. It's gonna go here, but in the newer cars, it's not anymore. It's not available. What it does, you put the oil in the reservoir. It's pump. It's come here. It's pump it, and it's go inside the rack and pinion. The newer cars, the rack and pinion is available, but it doesn't require any oil. The steering column is here, and the steering column is electric. That means there is a motor under the steering column, and that it will facilitate the movement of the steering column of the rack and pinion to turn the car from the left to the right. This one is responsible of turning the wheel. By when you turn the steering column this way, this one go out and the tire go this way. When you turning to the left, this one go this way and the tire go out. This piece here is the axle. This is the axle coming out from the transmission. And inside here also we have the, what they call it, not only the transmission, but also we have the what they call, there is a small differential inside here, right?
Yeah, the axle.
Yeah, from the axle, like there is a small differential built in here, and now they are just trying to adjust it to put it in. The first car have like a knocking noise. Now we have to adjust it good. This is a frame where it's mounted under the car when you put it in, and those are the stabilizer sway bar or sway bar where the stabilizer link mounted into it. You see this? When the car turns left or right, it may adjust the car so that the car is not going too much. Here in this side here, those are the corners of the front, what they call it. This is the carrier, right?
What is the frame?
The frame that carry the engine. And here we have the front engine mount. You see, this is the front engine mount here, and we have one also in the top here. Okay, this hose here, that's the one.
This have to go to your. This have to go that side.
Okay.
Look.
We are adjusting it now to put it in. So be careful. Here we have the crankshaft pulley. Here we have the water pump pulley. Here is a tension idler. This is just a quick information about the engine. We are trying to put it to adjust it before it go into the car. Those 1, 2, 3, 4 is the exhaust out. When the exhaust coming out from here after the burn, you have the input, the antifreeze. It may go through here and coming out here to the radiator. You see this pipe is coming out from here is the antifreeze that is coming out from here, going back all the way to where? To this one is going to go all the way to the car to go to the radiator that is inside the car, which we call a heater core. From here is go, and then it may come back through this one here. The starter is here and is going into that place where you want to start the car. This piece here, it's pin that piece there. You see that one? Don't put your finger there when you work. It will spin it so that the car starts. By the way, it's no more available for hybrid cars. They get rid of the starter. Not only the starter, they get rid of the alternator also on some cars. Okay. Here are the wires. This connector is for the air flow meter sensor. This connector here is for the engine computer. You know, engine computer have two connectors. One is here and one is in the body of the car. Those are the battery terminal. This is the transmission mount. And this one here, control arm. You see? This is what they call control arm. It could be another one. This is a lower control arm. And I believe there is another control arm from the top, from the body. Don't forget to put all your grounds. We're gonna go to the car. Okay, here we have the engine that is no good. Those are the coils. They're gonna move from here to go into the car. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 coils. Under the coil we have a spark plug. You remember older cars, we don't have coils. We have only the cables coming from the distributors here. They say no, we don't need the cables. We just have to have coils and wiring, electronically controlled. Here, when you come here, this is the injector, the fuel pump coming from here. You see still we have some gas. The pressure go here. We have a pressure. That means if the fuel pump pressure exceed 80%, the pressure will get released back. So this one, it will regulate the pressure so that pressure will not pass 60%, 6 psi. Here, the yellow stuff here, those are the injectors that keep sending gas, and here air coming in. If you remember the 4-stroke cycle, we have this. I believe this is a solenoid, VVT solenoid. It has to do with the engine performance. This is a PCV valve, crankcase ventilation. That means all the stroke, you know, when the stroke happens inside the engine, there is some air skip through the rings, piston rings, and go down to the engine or oil pan. Maybe that air when it's come back, maybe we don't need oil come out here, or we need it to be regulated. But it have another function that you may read about it, but I just give you an idea. Here, this is a flywheel, and the flywheel is mounted into the crankshaft sensor. When you have a oil leak, they say there is a crankshaft sensor seal that is behind this crankshaft. But this one here, his job, those teeth, is for the starter, that you put the starter here. When it's engaged, it turn it. With the ignition on, the computer will see the crankshaft signal, crankshaft signal, and then it will start commanding, sending, information or signal to the injectors, to the coil to spark based on the time. But on this car, also, you see these two screws here, those are the torque converter. So you have to turn this one by inside here, this space here. You have to tie those screws into the torque converter, and the torque converter actually inside it has oil and is a clutch itself. Torque converter clutch, but it works by oil and pressure. This car is computerized. Transmission is automatic. That means in certain time, computer will open some solenoid to pass the oil pressure, change the position of the car, and also to move the clutch and then to change the speeds. We have some hose here for the vacuum. The 2018 Toyota Camry, sometime we have vacuum line from here that is going into the brake booster. And that Toyota for 2018 car, he changed it and he put somewhere here a pump. They call it brake booster pump. And that pump, I just realized that it fell very fast. A lot of people, they have problem with it. This one here is the music like a speaker. This one is like a speaker listening to the engine. When the engine get a little bit weak, produce noise, it will send signals. They call it knock sensor, knocking sensor. It will listen to the engine knock. It will send signal to the car computer to to compensate, whether to add fuel or something that for the car to run good. We're gonna come here, the same as you see there. This water pump is good. Here is your oil filter. The oil pump, pumping oil to go all the way here, because this engine is mechanical movement engine and it must be lubricated all the time. But the oil, when the engine moves, there is some debris coming out from the metal that is broke. We don't need that metal to go back into the engine. So as soon as the oil pump works, it's pumped through the oil passage, it's going into the filter, go inside, go to the engine, lubricate all the engine, and come back. This is why when the car parked for a long time, it's not advised to just start the car and go. Wait a little bit, let the car lubricate the engine itself. This one here, I believe the hose is going to the radiator. All this stuff they are going to move back to the car. You see here, you know this wire? This is the crankshaft sensor wire. It's going through here, it's coming through here, and it's coming in this area here. You see this piece? This is this piece here. Is this the crankshaft sensor? I don't believe it. Yeah. Don't tell me this is not a crankshaft sensor. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. So when the engine turns, it takes the signal from here, and the computer will calculate, this is the ground, it's calculate the signal, and based on this signal here, it will send information to the computer when it will open the injector, when it will open the spark, and vice versa. What we don't have here is the alternator also supposed to be here, but newer cars, the hybrid car doesn't have alternator. Also the hybrid car, the transmission you see here is not only a transmission, it is more MG, like more charging and like motor and generator at the same thing, and transmission inside. So I don't want to exceed those sensors. Some of them are cooling temperature sensor. Here is a camshaft sensor. Look at it here. This is a camshaft sensor, and here is it the oil pressure sensor or cooling temperature sensor? I believe one wire is supposed to be, this is cooling temperature sensor, and this is the oil pressure sensor. When the oil move from inside, go all the way here, this will make the light, maybe you have a ground, when the oil reach here, this ground, it will not send any ground anymore, and the light on the dashboard will go away. Thank you for watching Mobile Electronic Diagnostic. This is Muhammad Harun Idris. Please subscribe, share, and like, and see you in another video.